guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to a review and preview show of the Premier Division. We had a bumper night on Friday night, and obviously we've games to look forward to on Friday as well. Delighted that Philip has joined me once again. How are you, Philip?
Good, Keith, good. It's nice to watch the football there last night, and I suppose it's great that we've only got a couple of hours now before the next set of fixtures.
Madness. We'll start off at Dalymount Park, and Bohemians had an amazing 5-0 win against Drogheda United. Now, obviously, we didn't get to see all the matches, to be fair, because there's too much. We've got Monday's games coming up as well, so I wanted to get this video out fairly quickly for people to see before Monday's games as well. But I was here at Dalymount Park, and Bohemians 5, Drogheda 0. Obviously, 4 goals for Georgie Kelly. I mean, I spoke about it before, but the flack Georgie Kelly gets, and now he's top scorer in the league, and he was brilliant in this game. He bullied the Drogheda centre halves, if I'm honest. He scored 4 goals. What more can you ask for? I have said how strikers that have performed worse have got less criticism. So, look, you have to give him credit, and he's shoving it down everyone's throat, basically, Georgie Kelly. Fantastic performance. Drogheda, this was the worst I've seen them by a mile this season. Now, it's easy to say that because they're beaten 5-0, but I saw it after 15 minutes. You know, that kind of way. I thought, like, Drogheda are not in this at all. They just, they seem to be sixes and sevens, Kevin. Philip, where did Kevin come from? Kevin? Who's Kevin? No, they seem to be sixes and sevens in this game, Philip. And I don't know, like, Bowes players are picking it up in midfield, the edge of the area, unmarked and things like that. They were coming in waves, 4 and 5s, and Drogheda seemed to be outnumbered. It was a malfunction somewhere, like, you know, that kind of way in the team. The press wasn't quite there. I don't want to be too critical of them because, to be fair, up to now, they've been brilliant. The worst game they lost this season was by a goal as well. But this actually could have been more, Philip. Honestly, this could have been 7 or 8-0. I really mean that. Like, you have to give Bowes credit as well, because when they do play, they are a joy to watch, to be fair, some of the players. Devoy, excellent again. Liam Burt gave Brown a lot of problems. I spoke about Kelly there. Ali Cooch, the list is endless. Big win for Bowes. A point behind Drogheda down the table, which is huge as well. They're on 29 goals. Drogheda have 29 goals as well. But did this surprise you?
I was shocked, actually, because going off the video before, I thought Drogheda might actually get a result here. Look, it's out of the blue, I think, because it hasn't been coming. It's not like they've been playing poorly the past couple of weeks. They've been playing quite well. And look, as I've said many times before, Keith, sometimes teams just don't turn up, and it looks like Drogheda didn't turn up on the night. Look, as for Georgie Kelly though as well, like, look, what a performance. You know, I was only thinking about it as well before you said it. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, he has got a bit of stick, and Bowes fans still love to kick him, especially when he's down. But you can't say much more if he's top scorer in the league. Do you know what I mean? Look, I know he had 5 in one game and 4 in the other, or something like that. He scored
he had a hat trick and he'd 4. But even so,
yeah. But like, even so is right. Yeah, because like he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what he's being paid to do, and that's score goals. And you know, I think Bowes don't realise how fortunate they are. He's probably one of the top strikers in the division. We kind of all know that already. But in terms of what he's offering at the moment, there's not much else around the country that is standout as he is at the moment. Look, as for Drogheda, as I said, I think it was just an off night, Keith, and I think the good thing about this now, I don't know if they had any injuries or anything yesterday, but
not really.
I think no one came off though or anything, did they?
No, they took Deegan off fairly early, but that was in line, I think, with Monday's game.
Monday,
they were 3-0 down or 4-0 down at that point,
Yeah, I think I was just about to say, like, I think it's a good thing that the game is coming up so quick because they have a chance to bounce back. As for Bowes, the big one now as well is on Monday, and what a start. I turned around and I said Bowes have more of a chance of beating Drogheda, and they go out and beat Drogheda 5-0. So I hope my words don't come back to bite me there, because I think that they can only bring a huge amount of confidence into the big game now on Monday.
Yeah, I think the killer as well, actually, for Drogheda in this game was they were 2-0 down at half time, and to be honest, it could have been more. First, second minute, whatever it was in the second half, 3-0, game over, and that was it.
That's it.
Last 20 minutes, Bowes basically just passed the ball around, but Drogheda didn't press. But that's understandable because they were 5-0 down. They have a game on Monday, basically. What's the point? Let's be honest about it. So, like, if Drogheda hit back, we'll get into that later, actually, but if Drogheda hit back on Monday against Dundalk, like, all things forgiven, I suppose. But as you say, chalk it down as one of them. It hasn't happened to them often this season. So, they'll move on, I'm sure. The Oriel Park finished Dundalk 1, Longford Town 1, McNally for Longford, Shields for Dundalk. I think I said 1-1 as well, so I got this one right at least. Didn't get the other one right. But Dundalk now 8th in the table on 18 points, Longford on 8 points. Vinnie Perth has come in there. We haven't really spoke about it. We're going to tie it in, I suppose, Philip, as well. But I think it's a strange one there, Vinnie Perth coming back. I really do. I think it's money over pride, to be honest with you, and I don't blame him, because you know what I mean. You're out of a job in the League of Ireland, and if you get a decent paycheck, it has to be that. I mean, he fell out with half the dressing room at Dundalk. Let's be honest. Jim Magilton, they don't get on. I think from Dundalk's point of view, the board, I think it's an attempt to get fans off their back slightly, because they could see the fans are saying, they should never got rid of Perth, etc., etc. I think all that comes into this as well. But once again, didn't see the game, obviously, but it's a disappointing enough result for Dundalk. Longford probably be pleased enough. I don't know whether they deserve to win the game or not, but they'd be pleased enough.
Yeah, of course. Look, you have to say, Longford, if you offer them a point before the game, they'd probably bit your hand off. Let's be realistic. Look, Dundalk are just, we can't talk about them anymore because we just don't know what to say. It's just such a bloody nightmare. And like, you're right about the Vinnie Perth situation. I just think it shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. But even though it's happened now, there was no immediate response against a Longford side that have been okay this season, not great, but a team that you'd expect Dundalk to be able to beat with the quality of players that they have. Again, the whole dressing room situation, just doesn't sit right with me how all this can happen in the space of less than 18 months, and he's
come back 3 years later to the club.
Yeah. And like he was publicly critical of Dundalk in his time since he's left the club, so it just doesn't really make much sense. But I suppose not much has made sense in Dundalk this season, so I can only just say it's another page to this chapter of their story. Longford again, that's a good point for them, and I'm pretty sure they'll only take confidence from it. We both haven't watched the game, so we can't turn around and tell you what happened or what we think. But I think that this is something for them to build on, and hopefully they can start moving up the table a bit, because obviously they do play that good, expansive football, Keith.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking at Dundalk's team selection here. It's interesting, like the likes of Abibi and Stanton, the only two signings in the summer, actually started the game. So he's like, I mean, Darry Leahy came back in as well. He's a good player, though. I mean, he'd get most teams in the league.
Yeah.
Duffy, McElhenney, Sean Murray, and Daniel Kelly, and you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, are these players going to be used that they're brought in? If not, it's a serious waste of wages as well, because there's an awful lot of players brought in and huge wages like at that club, and it looks like they're gone back to type. Whether that'll work or not, I don't know, but they're trying everything, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just not really working.
I think I've seen it now. I could be wrong, but I think I've seen something online there today that their wage bill is like €3 million a year or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. That's unheard of in any League of Ireland club ever. Yeah. So like, you can only turn around and say, well, what's going to happen there? Like they're looking like they're going to cut a couple of things during the year or at the end of the year, but we don't know what that is. But yeah, I think they need to get that in order, because that's a bill like that will send you under straight away. Like, do you know what I mean? If the American owners pull out, like, no one else is going to be able to foot that bill that I've seen any owners in any League of Ireland club. So yeah, that's something they need to get. They need to get their cards in order as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. Waterford 1, Shamrock Rovers 4. We both said 1-0. We were wrong.
Yeah.
You obviously saw this game, but Malloy scored early enough, which would have sent shivers down your spine, I'm sure. But Burke equalised fairly quickly. Second half, Gaffney, Green, and Burke with goals. How did you see this one overall?
Yeah, look, you go 1-0 down early on. You're saying, "Oh, geez, here we go!" Like another game where it looks like we might not get a result. Like, and to be fair, the game kind of turned around. I thought Rovers weren't great in the first half, to be honest with you. It was very stagnated performance, but again, it's nothing that we haven't been too used to this year. Yeah. They've kind of been like that since the start of the season. Second half, although they got 3 goals, it still wasn't fantastic. I thought again it was just it lacked what you would usually expect from a Shamrock Rovers team. You know, look, Gaffney scores as well, and I have to say, I thought he was a standout performer on the night, which was good. Burke as well. Obviously one penalty, and then he did score another as well, which was good to see, because he was struggling for goals. A little patch where he was struggling, but seems to be picking up a couple now, which is a good thing. Yeah, well, look, on the performance basis, Keith, I don't think it was a 5-star performance. I'd say a 2-star performance. It was pretty poor. But again, when you're playing against a side like Waterford, no disrespect to them, the quality just does tend to come through, which it did on the night. But I think there's probably a bit of concern now coming into the derby for the fans, like it just with how, I know we got the 3 points, but just how we're playing, it just isn't up to where we would usually expect it to be. And the fact that Bowes went and put 5 past Drogheda, a good Drogheda side, obviously they didn't turn up on the night, but usually a good Drogheda side. It does just leave a bit of a question mark as to a result on Monday. But again, Stephen Bradley, what a fantastic job he's done. So I'd expect him to go in, another stagnated performance, another sloppy performance, but still get 3 points. So just keep my fingers crossed for that.
Still top of the league as well, in fairness.
Yeah, just about to say, it's still top of the league. I suppose you can only look at it and say that. Like, I mean, where else can you go? Like, you're still criticising your club, but you're top of the league, 3 points clear, and yeah, it's great to be on top of the league. I just can't wait now to get into a game, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Waterford, how did you see them in the game? Did they crumble a little bit?
I think, to be honest with you, Keith, after the second goal, I thought the heads would drop, but they did give a fairly good account to themselves, you know. And I suppose up till the penalty, I thought they were excellent. The Rovers penalty, that is, I thought they were brilliant. Really resilient. It looked a really, really tardy performance in the first half. I thought they were probably slightly lucky to go in at 1-1, but I have to say they did create a couple of chances in the game, which was something that I didn't expect. Again, captain was brilliant. I can't think that lad's name. I keep getting it mixed up. I think it was. If he was the captain, he was brilliant. I thought he was excellent in midfield. I think it was. He was very, very good. But overall, I looked at Waterford and I said, you know what, they will get more points. You know, which is a good thing. Like, you know, because they are a very young side, I think, as I said, Bertrand before, looks like he's got them going. And although they get beat 4-1, they do go and put in a decent performance. So they can only try and take that in now and get another one on the board now on Monday. So, yeah, I thought they done well, Keith, to be fair.
Absolutely. The Northwest Derby and Derry did get the revenge, Phil, of winning 2-1 at Finn Park. Patching penalty, surprise, surprise, and a patching free kick, surprise, surprise. I'm not sure if he scored for play this season, maybe one. I remember one. But in fairness, he's very good from set pieces and free kicks, whether he's going direct or indirect corners and that. But a player that I think they're going to lose now, to be honest with you, Philip, in a couple of weeks to Dundalk, and particularly with Perth back, because he brought him in as well. He's going to be, you'd like to think that he'd be a fixture for Dundalk. He might want to play for Dundalk, but like, he's no choice, he's contracted there. But yeah, super result for Derry. Now puts them ahead of Finn Harps, and they're kind of starting to motor a little bit, Derry. Any worries of relegation now are gone, aren't they, really?
Yeah, 100%.
Well gone, actually.
Yeah, like, I just have to say, I thought Harps are really good, but I do think the penalty was pretty soft. I thought it was soft. And I looked at a couple of post-match reviews. I thought post-match interviews. Ollie Horgan said if he gives that penalty, he has to give another 8 in the game, and that just kind of puts it into perspective. And you know, Ollie, he doesn't tend to be a biased man, so no. I'll take his word for it as well. But no, look, I think Harps weren't as good as they've been in previous games, and sometimes the derby can do that, you know. And look, again, the Derry's player of the season, Patrick, has went and scored a penalty, and then just I thought from looking at the highlights he was good. So yeah, Derry, if you'd have said this 2 months ago, you would have been laughed at as to where they would be now, because it was so bad at the start of the season. Like, I think people forget how bad they were. And yeah, look, again, another result for them. They got their revenge now, so I think they will only build on it like they have on previous results in the past couple of weeks. And I think Finn Harps kind of, as I said, it wasn't a great performance from what I've seen. And I think Ollie Horgan admitted that as well. They weren't as good. I think he said they were a lot better against Sligo. And yeah, I think they need to kind of just have a little evaluation, because they don't want to slip into too many more of these results and bad habits, because again, it's a long way down. They obviously will be fine, but I think they kind of are in a position now where they might be able to just try and push for Europe, because they have been good this year. I think they could do it, especially if they keep Adam Foley fit. Like, so yeah, 2-1 on the night, but again, it could have went either way.
Yeah, I think Kieran Harkin's actually a player that typifies Derry City as well. And I was very surprised that Declan Devine wasn't really using him at the start of the season. I actually mentioned that in video as well. Higgins has come in straight in the team, 2.5-year contract last week.
Yeah, there you go. And I was talking to a Derry fan last night, and they kind of said to them that they know they're going to lose a couple of players, but the fact that they have these players on contracts now is a good thing. And they hopefully, I do hope for Derry's sake, they don't go for buttons, because they've got some really, really good players up there. And I think they've showed that. Obviously, Passion's not in that situation, but there's a couple of other younger lads.
I'd throw Owen Toll in there, actually, Philip. Excellent central defender. Absolutely brilliant central defender. 22. He's been around for about 5 years or something, like, you know, and he's only 22 now. But there's been links with Hearts and Salford. So not surprised clubs like that are watching him. But they do have him on a 2 or 3 year actually contract. So at least if he goes, they can make a bit of finance on them, which is critical, I think, in this league, isn't it?
Yeah, especially for a club like Derry. Like, you know, they are a big club, but still they wouldn't have the biggest budget in the league. So like things like that would be welcome. And I think now, as I said it to Aidan last night, I think now is the time where I think League of Ireland clubs might be able to be in a position to do that. Not all clubs, not the part-time clubs, or I'd say most full-time clubs now are getting to a position. I'd say if the whole pandemic didn't come around, I'd say a lot more would be in the situation where they'd be able to put down a bit more money and put down a bit more longevity on the contracts. And I think that we're seeing it with Derry, and I think they've rightfully done it, because they needed to get that whole situation in order, because I think there's been a couple of years where they've lost 1 or 2 on a free or for very little, which they shouldn't have. So yeah, no, it's good to see, and I suppose we can only hope that more clubs do it, because again, it will bring more finance into the club and clubs and into the league.
Yeah, 100%. Finished St. Patrick's Day 2, Sligo Rovers 0. I'm trying not to smile. But I watched this back. I mentioned before we came on air, I watched this back without knowing the results. I was at Dalymount Park, so I was happy with that. But great start for Pats in this game. Matty Smith after 7 minutes. Coughlin penalty then after 73 minutes. I think overall, Pats did deserve to win the game, Philip. Pats were better in the first half. Funnily enough, I think Sligo came into it, though, into the second half, actually, and threatened a bit as well and played a bit better football. Pats obviously leapfrogged them in the table, just in goal difference. But it's a huge win for Pats, I think. In regards to penalty, stonewall penalty. I think Greg Bulger made 2 errors. He got robbed by Benson for a start, and then he turned back and ended up fouling Matty Smith. And he had a word with Ronan Coughlin. I wonder what that was before Ronan Coughlin buried the penalty. But actually, I was speaking to somebody actually there before the game as well, saying how important actually Robbie Benson is for Pats. And maybe he hasn't got the credit, because when Pats were in that little wobble as well, he was injured. He's come back into the side. You talk about your Bulgers and your Deegans and players like that. I think Benson, a little quieter in a sense as a man as such, but he gives you that kind of drive on the pitch as well. He's very good in the press. I thought he was very good in this game. I thought Alfie Lewis now was outstanding for Pats, to be honest with you. He put in an unbelievable performance. They'd be hoping to tie him down, because he's actually released from West Ham, so I don't know what's going on there. He's on loan at Pats. So he was probably the best player in the park, but I do think Benson has showed his worth again over the last few weeks. Not usually until a player's missing that you understand how good they are.
Yeah, and look, great result for Rovers' perspective as well, I suppose. I would have probably preferred a draw for both teams, but I suppose it's not the worst result we could have hoped for. Yeah, look, again, I didn't watch this game, but I've looked back on it since, and not the whole game, the highlights, should I say. And yeah, obviously you said about Bulger making a mistake, but I I think from what I looked at, Pats did look the better side, in my opinion. Now, I just thought they had that little bit more, and I think as we discussed in the preview show, Keith, it looked like Pats Sligo had missed their bodies that they were still missing. It looked like that was evident again.
Hugely, yeah. Buckley was out again. They'd Horgan centre back, like.
Yeah, and they just didn't look comfortable.
Banks centre back, sorry, excuse me, Banks.
Yeah, they didn't. I suppose they just didn't look comfortable. And look, again for Pats, they as you said, they've got Benson back, and he's making a big difference. And I suppose they're looking, of the two, they look more at the moment like they're going to challenge compared to Sligo over the past couple of weeks. But again, we've said it about the little dips.
That changes.
Yeah, so enjoy it while it lasts. And I suppose. Look, saying that, Rovers, as we said, haven't been fantastic. So, you know what I mean? You change one or two results, Pats are top of the league, like, and Pats maybe, I know they had their little spell, but they could have been unlucky in a couple of games, not too many, but a couple of decisions maybe might have went their way. And look, I suppose they'll be just looking to bring it into Monday again, like everyone else, a quick turnaround. I won't look past them on Monday because they were brilliant from what I've seen.
The issue I had with Sligo was if they were missing a couple of players, which they hadn't really been missing, that they could drop points, and that's been the key thing. Pats had that issue as well. That's the question I always have with Pats and Sligo. Good sides, but they need everyone fit more or less. We'll move on to Monday's games now. Philip, just trying to get them up there before they got knocked off. We'll start actually with Pats. We'll start off with Pats and Finn Harps, and big game for Pats. Again, quick turnaround for all these teams, remember, as well. So I think it's important that maybe you can make 3 or 4 fresh changes going into these games. Finn Harps probably haven't been on the best run lately, actually. So maybe an opportunity for Pats to get another home win at Richmond Park potentially here.
Yeah, Ollie Horgan's teams don't tend to feel sorry for themselves. That's the only thing I will say. Like, I think that if there's many teams in the division that are able to go turn around and bounce off a result like a defeat, I think Finn Harps would be one of the clubs to do it. Saying that, I just think they've caught Pats at the wrong time. Really good result for them, obviously, as we just literally spoke about. But you probably would expect them to get a job done here. I think it'll be a tight game, though, Keith. I don't see there being too many goals in this one, I think it's in Richmond Park, is it?
It is, yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's in Richmond Park.
That's the advantage Pats have a little bit, I will say, because when you have a quick turnaround, if you can get 2 home games, it is a big thing. Harps, like, travelling does make a difference here, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, big time, yeah. And I suppose, especially when you've got, just less than 70 hours before your next game or something like that. Like, it is a quick turnaround, so... and it's not, trust me, I've done the drive to Ballybuffet. It's not an easy drive, No. So they will be under a bit of pressure, and I suppose they did have a couple of knocks actually as well. Like, I can't remember who was injured, but Horgan did say there was a couple of injuries on the night against Derry, so they'll be hoping to get them turned around quickly, which is probably unlikely. Again, as I said, Pats, I just think will just edge this. I'm gonna give you a score of 1-0. I think it'll be really, really tight, and I think Pats will just nick it.
I'm the same. We've gone for 1-0 as well. Same reasons, really. I think it's going to be, like, it's never easy playing Finn Harps, but I just think the turnaround, having to travel to Dublin, might be a little bit too much. I think that might make a difference here. So Pats 1-0 for me. Big game at the bottom of the table. Longford Town take on Waterford FC. Massive game for both sides. This is in Longford. How do you see this one going?
It could go either way, to be honest with you. Look, as I said, like, the scoreline flattered Rovers, I thought, last night, but just a couple of mistakes for Waterford done them in, I think. And look, Longford get a good result against Dundalk, so it's set up now to be a really. It could go either way. I just think the way Waterford have been over the past couple of weeks, the sort of a revival slowly lingering in that club. I just think that they've got the right man in Bertram, and I think the players are playing for him as well. Not that they're not for Longford either, but I just think it might be a good result for Waterford here off the back of a poor result, but a good performance. So I'm gonna give you a score of. Trying to even call it. I would say 1-0 again. I'm going to go 1-0 Waterford, just off the fact that they don't tend to score too many goals. So
I'll go for a draw. I think 1-1. I think Longford might get something here. Derry and Sligo. Massive test for Sligo now, isn't it? Going into Monday's game.
Big time, yeah. And I suppose if you're catching any team as well at the wrong time, Derry is definitely up there, especially if you've got a few injuries like Sligo have. I don't know if Buckley, don't think Buckley will be back
He's
for
not
this either,
expected to be back. They're hoping to be back for Bohemians, actually, which is the Friday, I think, or Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, another big miss for him, for Sligo, because he's been brilliant. I just it's kind of hard to talk about each club because I think we've discussed it already. But
exactly.
as well as that, the quick turnaround, Keith, I just think Derry will be flying now after last night, and I think that it'll be a boost of confidence for them with that result. And I think Sligo are probably not a team to feel sorry for themselves, but disappointed in that result. Saying that now, they could turn around and put in a good performance, because they're going through that stage now where people are starting to question them, and sometimes that can rile up players and get players going. And I wouldn't rule out them getting something out of the game. I'm going to give you a score of. I'm going to go 2-2, and just off the fact of how poor Sligo have been defensively and how good Derry have been going forward. So 2-2.
Yeah, it's amazing how missing one player can make such a difference, but Buckley has. I'm going to go for a draw as well, but I'll go 1-1. Surely Will Patchen will score a penalty as well. On to one of the two major derbies the weekend, and we'll talk about Drogheda actually in Dundalk first. Absolutely massive game this. I mean, Dundalk did beat them early on in the season, actually 2-1, one of their better performances. They were very good in the first half. Drogheda came in the second half, got one goal, but couldn't get another one back. Massive test actually for Drogheda, to be honest with you, Philip, because that was a serious hiding, and it wasn't just a 5-0 where, it was kind of like, Bulls took all their chances type thing. It was a proper hiding. So this is a huge test for Drogheda going into this game. But if they can get a result here, in which they're capable of, because Dundalk are just all over the place. But very interesting game, and I can't call it though. How do you see it? I'll call it in a second, obviously, but
straight away, I'm gonna back the Drogheda boys. I think they turn around from this performance and say, right, this is the first time we haven't been at it, and I think now we need to give a response. We need to give something back to the fans as well. It's not in Drogheda.
It's in United Park, yeah. United
Park.
Oh,
it is United Park, yeah.
Or Head the Game Park. I always forget that.
I always as well. I don't know. Is there fans back as well?
There is, for the first time as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Especially those lads that sat on that wall week in, week out. And I tell you one thing, I balanced on that wall myself one night, and Jesus, I tell you, they must have some calf muscles now. So I'm delighted that they're going to get back in and see a big derby. So hopefully I'll be rooting for those lads that done that throughout the whole course of the pandemic. So Drogheda, as I said, will be looking for a response, and I think there's no better man than Tim Clancy to get a team fired up for a big game like this. Not that they need anyone to get them fired up either, though, because any derby you get rolled up for, and I suppose these two can't stand each other. From discussing with a couple of Drogheda fans previously, they just don't like each other, and I think they love the fact that they're kind of considered the smaller club now at this current moment in time.
It's actually, Philip, it's an underrated derby. It's just they've avoided each other for many years, like the last 10 years. Even before that, Dundalk were in the first division. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose after 16 games, just looking at the table, it's hard to believe in many ways that Drogheda are 7 points ahead of Dundalk. Nobody would have said that.
Yeah, it's just the season that Dundalk have had. Let's be honest, in terms of the last 8 or 9 years, it's been all Dundalk up there. So, I think it's nice now that the tide is slightly turned. Whether it finishes like that at the end of the season will remain to be seen. But look, my pal Ian Craig, he'll be rooting for his mighty Drog, so I will be rooting for them too. And I am going to give you a score of. I am going to go 3-1 Drogheda, and I'm going to say Chris Lyons will get a double.
If you get that, I'll tell you, put your money on that. I think Dundalk, funnily enough, have the squad to handle the Friday, Monday games, but again, I don't think there's too many issues there. I'm not sure if they have the right attitude. Drogheda's mentality is very, very strong, and I think they'll be hurt badly by that defeat at Dalymount Park. they probably didn't play in the last 20 minutes, not being funny as such. So they'll be well rested, you know what I mean? Because they didn't press at all, which is probably the right thing to do when you think about it. I mean, you're 5-0 down.
Yeah,
what's
when
the
you're
point
down
of the game Monday?
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I think Drogheda are going to win the game. Will they win a 3-1? I'll go 2-1, last minute winner for Drogheda. On to the final game. Yeah, we're really calling it here, aren't we? On to the final game, and I suppose this is a bit of a small game, really. Bohemians taking on Shamrock Rovers at Dalymount Park.
Tell you the worst derby in the country, man. It drives you mad. Like, just two little minnow clubs, man. It's a pointless game. Like,
oh, nowhere.
I tell you, said no one ever. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not terrified. I'm not terrified of Bows, but I'm terrified of this fixture. It just seems to be that sometimes Rovers, especially over the past couple of years, we've had a bit more success, but there was that little phase where we just could not buy a win. And like, just the way we've been playing lately, it's just haven't been optimistic. Like, you know, everyone points out this game in the calendar. So like, we've been all building up to this game for weeks, not just we played Waterford. Now it's Bows. I suppose like it's a game that both clubs kind of pen in and look at a few weeks before the actual game itself. So I think now is probably the wrong time to kind of catch them after putting 5 past Drogheda, because they'll be coming in with heaps of confidence, Keith. And I do think we'll have enough, though. As I said, Drogheda are a good side, but they didn't turn up. And at the same time, I don't think that exposed Bow's defensive frailties that we've discussed previously. And I think if there's anyone in this league that could probably get at them and do that, I think it is Shamrock Rovers. And I suppose we put 4 past Waterford, so we can only look at that with confidence as well. Although we weren't great, we still go and put 4 past a resilient side. So again, I'm going to see it's going to be a cagey game, and my head is telling me it's going to be a draw. But I am going to tell you here and now, facts. We're talking pure facts. The Shamrock Rovers are going to beat those 2-0, and we're all going to have a party because it's going to be a Danny Mandrew party, and I have a feeling he's going to score if he plays. So, yeah, 2-1 Shamrock Rovers, and we'll put those back in that little side of Dublin back in their box once again. And
now I'm going to bring you down because I think Bowls are going to win. I actually think the opposite in many ways to you, because I think you said it would be cagey. I think this is going to be a really good game. They played earlier on the season. Rovers won 2-1. It was actually a very good game of football, very open. Bowls can play lovely stuff. I think that will kind of suit Rovers to play lovely stuff, if you know what I mean. Rovers are capable of playing lovely stuff. They haven't really showed it too often this season. Funnily enough, it's more been a grind for them. But I just have a sense that Bohemians are going to win this derby, Philip, and it's going to be 2-1 to Bowls.
Keith, don't ever speak to me again. Do you hear me? Get out of here.
On that bombshell, I think we leave it there, lads. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks again. Cheers, Philip.
Come on, the Hoops.